The prompt is, many cities lack enough land for development purposes. As a result, old buildings are knocked down and new buildings go up in their place. What are the advantages and disadvantages of demolishing old buildings? What's your opinion? Okay. So we got to talk about three things: the advantages and the disadvantages of demolishing old buildings, and we have to say what our opinion is.
Is it coming under Unit 3, employment?
This will be in Unit 7. Same type of question, but this prompt happens to be in 7 because the course is organized by themes.
Okay.
We do jump around a little bit sometimes.
Okay, so it says transportation, demographics, urbanization, housing.
That's it.
Okay.
So just from looking at this, let's analyze the prompt. What do we have to talk about? We have to talk about the advantages. We have to talk about the disadvantages. We have to give our opinion about what? What do we have to talk about?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can advantages and disadvantages about of demolishing old buildings.
Mm-hmm. And building.
And building new ones.
Yeah. And what is the cause of this phenomenon?
But the question, second part, what are the advantages and disadvantages of demolishing old buildings?
Yes, but we need to do this because there's not enough land.
Yeah.
Because we lack land for development purposes. Okay, so what are the disadvantages of knocking down old buildings? Just call them out.
It could be dangerous process.
Could be. Okay, what else?
Yeah. Maybe these buildings are heritage, so we are losing some highlights spots or loss of heritage of the place.
Mm-hmm. We can say have historical significance.
Significance, yes.
Okay.
And cost. It will be extra cost. You need to demolish old building and initiate new one.
Yes, I'm not going to write that one down because the cost is paid by the developer. So the taxpayer doesn't suffer because of that.
Garbage issue?
Sorry?
Garbage issue, like all the debris should be dumped in a proper way, so it's a big process.
Sure. Generates debris. Needs to be dumped. Okay.
Maybe these buildings are still functioning, so it's waste of resources. So better to do renovation instead of demolishing and rebuilding.
Yes, I'm going to say the buildings are still in good shape. Mm-hmm. Okay.
increased population around the city limits.
Can you explain how that's related?
In the sense like if you take out 2-3 tier building to put up 10 15 tier building, so there will be a number of people adding, so it's a disadvantage to the whole community, as you know, you have to share everything among everybody.
Okay. So maybe we'll erecting large new buildings encourages population growth.
Yeah, population growth.
Okay.
Enhancing pollution.
In what way?
For example, if the with development purpose, they try to build a high-rise condominiums, right? They need to install the all. They need to install the all mechanics. You know what I mean? You know, people going to the washrooms, right? People need the water.
Plumbing.
Plumbing, yeah, plumbing. They need to install the plumbing, so, and more people are coming to that new building to live, and so they enhance the pollution.
Okay. And it's pronounced plumbing. The B is silent.
Plumbing.
No, no B.
Oh,
When you write it, yes, there's a B, but the B is silent.
yeah. Plumbing.
Yep. And
Plumbing.
when you've got water issues, you hire a plumber.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think there is one also advantage is like when you move the people, they will have hard time to find another place to live in.
Okay. Okay, we've got lots of ideas here. What about for advantages? And remember here, the goal is not to write a comprehensive report on this. It's a short assignment. You've got one body paragraph per side. So we're just, at the end, we're just going to choose the biggest ideas. Okay. We don't need too many. But what's the, and I always suggest go with the obvious. Go with the obvious advantages and disadvantages. Because really, one paragraph is one controlling idea. You can put like 2 reasons in a paragraph, that's okay, but you don't need anything more than 1 or 2. Okay, so what's the biggest advantage of knocking down old buildings and putting up new ones in their place?
Finding solution for finding solution for homes, home solution for people, shelter solution.
Better and safer place to live.
Let's put solution to the housing shortage, right?
It gives good appearance to the city.
It gives the city a good appearance. Can you think of a better word than good? Allah, what did you say right before?
I said safer, and like the reason for demolishing old building because of the less safety, and so it should be more safety and more modern.
Okay. Now, when you say they're more modern, That's not an argument by itself. You have to explain why being modern is better. Right, so don't just say they're more modern.
Yes.
Okay, so new buildings are safer, okay?
Yes.
Okay, Dina, do you have a better adjective than good? What about the word that Allah just used? Modern?
Yes. Modern appearance.
Can we do that?
It modernized the city.
Mm-hmm. Do we have enough?
Promoting quality life.
In what way?
Now imagine the water system which we used to have in all the setup is very old, but having new ones, we can come up with new lines, so it's not coronated. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, it's not, I missed that last word.
It's not coronated because iron pipes, which we use to bring water into the building, it's coronated and it's long years. So when we come up with new buildings, it's all fresh and new, so it will affect the quality of the life.
Okay. I know like some old buildings, for example, don't have some of the modern amenities.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is true of modern buildings or modern homes compared to older homes?
Greater security.
Mm-hmm. Maybe from an environmental perspective? Energy efficient is a phrase. Right, like a modern house, for example, is practically hermetically sealed. Right, you've got like triple glazed windows with gas in them, amazing insulation in the walls, compared to an old house where some of them have no insulation, right? Or much worse insulation, or there's like gaps in the windows and things that allow for a lot of air exchange. So modern homes, modern buildings are definitely more energy efficient. Okay, we've got enough. Now, next step is to chunk our ideas. I'm going to say chunk, choose, and chuck. Chunk the ideas, choose the best ones, chuck the bad ones. Chuck is slang for get rid of. Chuck it out. Okay, so in the disadvantages section, which of these ideas go together? Just number them.
Number 1 and the number 7 and the number 6 together. Danger process and creativity.
Okay, let's go like this. Oh, we missed a really obvious part of this. Some buildings have historical significance, and if you knock them down, yes, there's a loss of heritage. What else is there a loss of if you've got an historical building?
Local building, we should keep it, not down there.
Culture.
So that would be part of heritage. Loss of,
architecture.
Maybe it will affect tourism.
yeah.
But like in this case, they don't demolish historical buildings. They demolish building who people lives in.
Well, the question's not specific. It just says cities lack enough land for development. As a result, old buildings are knocked down and new buildings go up in their place.
Yes, because like if we say in the heritage and historicals, we are taking it into only one side, because if you say like damaging the historical buildings and they are building a new historical modern buildings.
Well,
So
the new building won't be historical.
yeah, so what I'm saying, like we talk about the residential buildings.
It
overall.
doesn't say which ones. It doesn't say residential or business.
Yeah, it could be this or this. I don't know.
So here's a danger that I'm sensing. Don't change buildings into residential buildings, because that's not what it says. If the question is very non-specific and then you start transforming it into something that's very specific, you can quickly end up being off topic.
Yes, I know what you're saying, but like if I say not mentioning residential building, just saying building, and here we go. When I give the reason or the result, I can say moving out people. When I say historical, I would say I would give another reason, which deleting the culture or historical. I'm saying like to write, like to be more practical in writing and more easier of thoughts. It's about like people, like moving out people because they demolished this building. Know what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay.
Yes. This is what I mean.
Yes, there's all kinds of issues. Like these are separate disadvantages, right?
Yes. Like
Okay.
the question is, I can't say two reasons in one paragraph,
Sure.
like different reasons.
Yep. Put them both in the topic sentence. Doing this causes X and Y. So these probably go together. Dangerous, so these would go together. So we've got 5 points. Which side do you think is easier to agree with?
Hello.
Hi.
This is a question for all of us, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which side do you think is easier to agree with?
Disadvantage for me.
Okay.
Because this advantage, I can speak about the historical and what is important of historical for people, for tourism, for income, for finance, for the city. Also if also if any issue about electricity or something like this, we can improve this, but we didn't need to knock down the building. So this is, I can speak about this point.
Can you explain that last point? Not sure what you mean.
Yeah, if any issue about electricity or suppliers in all the building, we can improve this by new technology and the new instrument. We can improve these issues. but we didn't need to knock down the building for this issue.
What do you mean we don't need to look down?
Destroy the building and build a new houses.
Okay.
We didn't need this for if this issue present, because the outweight of advantage of historical is more outweighed than another any disadvantage.
Okay. So the disadvantages outweigh the advantages.
Yeah, and
Got it.
also every country try to keep his history and the historical building for new generation.
Hmm.
Like for example, like in France, if we go to if we want go to France or Egypt, we will find a historical building until now present at the same from 100 or 200 or 300 years.
Or 3,000.
With 3,000, yeah, yes. This is a history for the generation, new generation.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they are there. Nobody demolished them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Here's the
Yeah.
pictures.
So it's easier for Mohammed to talk about the disadvantages. So Mohammed, if the disadvantages are easier for you to talk about, that's going to be your second body paragraph
Yes.
if you use this. And okay, Allah,
Yes.
which side are you going to pick?
I will pick 1 and 7.
Pick advantages or disadvantages?
Disadvantages. You're talking about disadvantages or advantages?
Yeah. Which side would you pick?
For
What would
which
you,
one?
for this question? What would your opinion be?
For advantage.
Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, or do the disadvantages outweigh the advantages?
No, I think no, the disadvantages outweigh the advantages.
Okay. All right. This is 5 different points here. Okay, so this is 5 separate arguments.
But we can collect 4 and 5 together, because 4 and 5, I think, convince and more energy together.
Okay, let's do that. And let's put these together. Okay. All right. Okay. We've got more than enough. There's no way you can write about all of this stuff because you're writing 2 paragraphs. Each of them is about that big. The second body paragraph is going to be a little bit longer. Just to look at the template here, body paragraph 2 is the side you agree with. So let me just quickly run through this template. So the first sentence, anything you ever write, you start with the context. And in this case, we can just paraphrase the prompt. Okay, what are we talking about? There's an ongoing debate about whether or not blah, 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 blah. While this phenomenon, this thing we're talking about, has a number of advantages, there are clear drawbacks to this, then you have to use a specific word, that exceed the benefits. Okay, so this is a very simplistic thesis, but it's good enough for the introduction. Body paragraph 1 is the side you disagree with. It's trees paragraph structure. Okay, a number of, so if you're going to do, the disadvantages, then you're going to start with the advantages. Start with the side you disagree with. A number of advantages are associated with demolishing old buildings and replacing them with new ones. Supporters, point 2. You just list the major advantage, 1 or 2. This benefits, okay, and give some details, who can, which can. Give an example. The prompt always says give examples, so always, always, always give an example. Make it up, but that's a ridiculous reason to lose marks. Everyone has to put an example. Make it up. Your brother, your cousin, the city you used to live in, a made-up city. No one's ever going to check, but you need to show that you understand that examples make your writing stronger. Okay, based on these factors, based on these issues, knocking down old buildings offers a number of benefits. Body paragraph 2 is the side you agree with. Start with the transition. On the other hand, there are obvious benefits with preserving historical buildings, with not knocking down old buildings, which I think outweigh the advantages.
I have a question.
Yep.
So in topic, in body paragraph 1, we didn't start with the transition, so the transition only applies for the second paragraph?
Well, the transition is a number of advantages are associated with.
Yes, but what's
That's the whole transition.
Okay, so
But then when you give your second one, you would say, on the other hand, a number of disadvantages are associated with blah, 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 blah.
like in my homework, I said there are numerous advantages of this. Like if I said it in the first paragraph, it wouldn't, like I'm not like I cannot use transitional. Yes, like let's say we put this there are instead of a number of advantages to be okay.
That's right. Let me just do it like this. There are several advantages to X, namely A, B, and C. There are several disadvantages to X, namely D, E, and F. This is what you had.
Yes, like.
But you need something in here. This is a very abrupt transition from the first sentence to the second. Just like with yours, you're talking about paragraphs, but it's the same issue with sentences. Okay, you got to put the transition in there.
Yes, I mean like in body paragraph 1, it's optional to use a transition, and if I didn't write transition in body paragraph 1, so I should write in transition in body paragraph 2, right?
In 2, you definitely need one.
Okay, so in 1 it's optional.
Yeah. Okay, I understand your question.
Yes.
You could put, first of all, you could, but you don't really need it in this case.
Like in this case, let's say in this case, I didn't start with a number and it's a body paragraph 1. I said there are several advantages. It's right, like
Yes.
similar to, okay.
Yeah, that's okay too.
Okay, so
there are several.
So in the body paragraph 2, I need a transition.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I have a question, please.
Mhm.
Regarding to the transition paragraph, can we write a small transition paragraph, like one sentence or two sentences, as a transition paragraph from body one to body two?
No,
No.
don't do it.
Okay.
You
Why?
don't need a transition paragraph. This is
But sometimes I'm sorry. Sometimes when I read for articles, I found the writer write a small paragraph, one or two sentences, to transfer to new idea.
Can you share that paragraph with me? If you have an
Mm,
example of that, can you send it to me so I can have a look?
okay, I will find it and I send it by email because I
Okay.
don't have now. But
All
I
right.
read it. I read it already.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Okay.
So for the side you agree with, on the other hand, there are obvious problems with knocking down old buildings, which I think outweigh the advantages. So opponents of knocking down old buildings or proponents of preserving old buildings. Evidence, however you want to phrase this can be clearly seen in, or this can be clearly seen when maybe you've got a specific example from back home, or you know something about Toronto. Give a second reason why the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. Another evidence and example, then end off by saying, when these reasons are considered, the downsides of knocking down old buildings exceed the advantages. Very important sentence. It clarifies what your opinion is on this issue. And for the conclusion, just give the full thesis. Not a summary one, not a short one like this, but a full thesis at the end, please. Arguments on both sides of this issue have their merits. It's certainly true that knocking down old buildings is a good idea in terms of da-da-da-da-da. However, the disadvantages are far greater in terms of, and then you give your two reasons for not knocking down old buildings. Is it okay?
That we should give, should it be actual ones? So can we like come up with like fake ones?
Just off the top of your head, as long as it's reasonable, as long as it's not cuckoo crazy, just make stuff up.
Okay.
So most people in this class are preparing for IELTS.
Okay.
And they're dealing with things like time limits. If you don't care about that,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to do a little bit of research and you're not worried about any kind of time limit, then feel free to do a little bit of research and do something that's actually accurate or historically valid. But I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, why don't we do some super quick writing? Can everyone just write a quick thesis statement? Not the beginning one, but this one. Okay, I just want to see your full thesis statement. Just post it in the chat, one sentence using this template. That's all we have time for. We'll give you, it's 38 after, I will give you 5 to 7 minutes to do it. Okay, I'll just zoom out a little bit. Or I can actually share this document with you right now. Okay, so I posted the link to this document in the chat. This is the prompt. It's in the chat. And
So we will write only thesis
only the final thesis here for the conclusion. The full thesis.
for the conclusion.
Yes.
What do you mean for the conclusion? I mean, in conclusion, the last body paragraph?
Just this thesis that goes in here. Because you can put a very simplistic thesis at the beginning. While knocking down old buildings has a number of advantages, there are clear drawbacks to this that exceed the benefits. Right, so this doesn't actually give your arguments or reasons, it just gives your position. So this is too easy. Just use this template. Right now we're just doing this one, which is your full thesis that summarizes the reasons. Does that make sense? Dina,
Okay.
does that make sense, Dina?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Because here you don't have to give a full thesis the way you would in school. I would not accept this in my English class. But IELTS examiners do accept something like this. If they're fine with this, then that's all you need to give them. Because you can memorize stuff like this quite easily, and that takes care of basically most of this paragraph without mistakes.
But Mr. Yan, how we know that they will accept this one or not? It's subjective.
No, it's not.
Huh.
They will accept it.
But in conclusion, we need to be more like sophisticated.
Just to summarize your ideas, yes. Okay, Chomri, can you hear me? Hi, are you there? Your mute is on.
Yeah. So yes, I have noticed my mistake. I have repeated the same mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So I should say comma instead capital H when continuing.
Yes, but your other option here is a semicolon.
Semicolon. Okay.
Semicolon functions like a period.
Okay.
I'll show you something in just one sec. I'll show you which resources you should check out in terms of the grammar lessons.
Okay.
While replacing old buildings with modern ones has advantages such as more convenience and safety. I think preserving old buildings is crucial to be the memory of the new generation and use it as a tourist resource. Okay, good. I think preserving old buildings is crucial to be the memory of the new. That's a bit awkward. And I think preserving old buildings is crucial.
What is another word we can use?
For preserving.
Heritage, yeah.
I think preserving old buildings is crucial for preserving our maintaining old buildings. Preserving old buildings is crucial for maintaining our cultural.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Let's say saving. And using them as a tourist resource.
No any issue about
Whoa!
sorry. Is there any issue when I write such as, comma, such as, and then again after safety, comma, it's correct? Is it correct?
Not sure what you mean.
I wrote comma before such as, you see? Then I put comma after safety. Is that correct?
Oh, okay, hang on one sec. Just more convince, more such as more convenience and safety. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's the way you should do it. More convenience. Advantages such as providing greater crucial preserving all buildings. I'm not crazy about this. Crucial. All advantageous in terms of modernization of cities. In terms of modernization of cities, this is non-specific. This action will bring more drawbacks by losing cultural, not spotlights. It is, apostrophe, certainly true that demolishing old buildings will. Delete is for computer information. Eliminate historical places and decrease tourism to the city. Certainly true that demolishing old buildings will eliminate historical places and decrease tourism to the city. However, the benefits are less greater. What does that mean? Allah, what does are less greater mean?
Like they are the benefits, like the advantages outweigh the benefits.
Okay, so you're going to argue that the downsides are greater, right?
Yes.
Okay, start with the side you disagree with. It's certainly true that that's for presenting the argument that you're going to knock down later. Remember my example of, like, this is how salesmen operate. If you go to a car dealership and the salesman says, what other cars have you looked at? And let's say you've gone to a Honda dealer, but previously you went to a Toyota dealer. So the Honda dealer is not going to say, oh, Toyota's a piece of crap. He's going to say, oh, it's certainly true that Toyotas have their benefits, especially in terms of this and that. However, for your needs, a Honda is a better car because of this and because of this. So you start with the side you're going to disagree with. Okay, that should be your structure. And this structure mirrors the structure of the body paragraphs. Right? You start with the side you disagree with. So you got to flip that structure around. And Sylvia.
So what's next instead of delete we use?
Eliminate.
Can we use destroy?
I like destroy.
Okay.
Oops. It's certainly true that disadvantages of demolishing old buildings. Okay, so Sylvia, you definitely need a comma here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not clear how these are related to demolishing old buildings. You got preservation of historical value. How is that related to demolishing old buildings? Environmental issues such as pollution and growing population. It's not really clear how these are related to demolishing old buildings. So you're going to have to change something about
Like
these
the
reasons.
consequences of demolishing old buildings.
Yeah, so if you put the consequences, they would be the destruction of their historical value and the creation of environmental problems.
Mm-hmm.
Are very important. Are in terms of boosting economic situation, boosting the economic well-being of a city, because we're just talking about cities in general.
Mm-hmm.
Modernization. However, the benefits for boosting economic well-being of a city and modernization of new buildings, which are much more efficient. This is circular, modernization of new buildings, because you're saying the benefits of knocking down old buildings are the modernization of new buildings. It doesn't really make sense.
So, just new buildings?
Benefits are far greater in terms of X and erecting new structures which are more energy efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do it that way. Oksana, other place. It's
Sorry, and
true
what
that.
about mine? Did you see it?
Yeah, we did yours. Here, spotlights. Just it's not a good word.
Otherwise, as a grammar, it's okay. It didn't.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
You just got a spelling issue there.
Maybe losing?
Advantageous. A-G-E. A-G-E-O-U-S. Is a good idea for the development process. Or the development process, which are benefits, so you've got half of an idea here. So Oksana, this one's not done.
Yes, I know.
Which for the development process, which are benefits them in terms of energy efficient. So this doesn't really make sense either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so that's it. The last thing I want to show you is something new I put up. And perhaps it'll help some of you. You can give me some feedback afterwards. Down here, so this is going to be 7.5A.10. This is the essay. So again, I'll put the link in the news forum, so you can go in here. You know, exactly as before. This will work in 2 minutes. But I put in this thing I'm just calling Essay Buddy, and this is the same template that we looked at during class, but it's arranged in a very user-friendly way. So you've got your introduction, your body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion. And in each part, you've got separate text boxes for every single part. So for the introduction, and you can just type in your work here. Thesis. And then every part of the trees paragraph. So these are the same template sentences that are in the Word document. But this might help you internalize these or remember these things, because when you see it here, as soon as you start typing, this disappears. Right, so it's a good idea to memorize these. It's a very good idea, because the more of this kind of stuff you can memorize, the less you need to think during the writing process. This is not weird language. This is language that you can use in a million different situations. You're going to use it for your whole life. So it's a good idea to remember as much of these template sentences as you can. So you try and memorize it quickly. A number of advantages. You just keep typing, keep typing. I'm just going to put in a couple words and just show you how it works, and that's it. So you type everything in. Click the next arrow. And here it's going to put everything together. Okay, so everything that you typed in is going to be here. When you're done, just click Submit. And then you can, if you click the Export button, it will automatically send this to Word. Or you can just click the Select button and copy it, put it in the forum, or put it in Word, and just clean it up. Get rid of these headers. But these headers are in here just so they remind you of what the purpose of every sentence is. In the beginning, especially, this takes longer. And don't rush, because if you can't do this slowly and properly, you can't do it quickly and properly. So take your time, do it properly. The more times you do it, the faster it gets. One day you're just going to go, I get this. I understand why every sentence is structured the way it is, and it's just going to stick in your head because it's 100% logical. Until that day, you can use something like this. Just follow the template. Okay, any questions about this? Just don't close this screen until you've copied it and pasted it to something else, because I would hate for you to lose your work. Copy and just paste it somewhere else, or just click this button and it should automatically open up Microsoft Word on your computer and paste the text in there. Okay. So if that helps you, please give it a try and let me know if it's helpful, if it's not helpful, if it's missing something, if it needs something else. Okay, but otherwise, I'll post the homework locations, the links in the news forum in a couple minutes, and the assignment is due on Thursday at noon, and the revision is Friday at noon. And if you want to revise the last essay, then please do so. Okay, and I'll check it all out.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care.